Today I'm going to introduce a interesting data set which is called infrastructure map. And the important thing in this data set is it has all those infrastructure layers, which include the power line, and you have other pipe and gas lines. Those kind of things are included. So we're going to be talk about only at this moment is the power lines or transmission lines, and then we will see how this data look like, and then I will tell you how you can access this data if you want to use for your research purposes. So let's go to the area of interest. So I'm going to be zoom into the Pakistan area, so you can see the major transmission lines. They have a different colors. So if I click on certain line, so you can see the information is available. So this is a 500 kV and 50 hertz transmission line, which is going from Multan, Himyar, and via. So this is the kind of information you can find. And further, if you want to continue to zoom in, and you can see the location of those power plants. So if you further explore, and then now you can see the information about the different power plants and with their information about it. And then the source of the data is there, start date, and they have basic information about the power plants is also available. And then if you further zoom in, so you can see the details about those location of those towers. So this is the way you can see those tower locations in this data. So the main point is this data is very rich. It can give you the major transmission line information, and as well as their connectivity uh, up to the distribution lines. So it depending on area to area. So some area has a more detailed information, or some area has a basically the mostly the transmission lines in that case. But this data can be very interesting if you are looking something planning for the population at the tail, or if you want to be achieve the sustainability in the energy point of view. So you can use this information in your research. So further, if you want to be see in other areas of the world, so let's go. We focus on let's suppose in the Canada. So what we have here in the North America. So we have yeah. So you can see the infrastructures, but I can focus on certain areas so you can see the more details. And here still we're seeing the major transmission lines, but eventually you will start seeing the more detailed information once we are going into the further details. And the same thing is you have those kind of the poles, and that's a part of the distribution network. It's not the transmission. So you need, like, there's the difference between these two different kind of infrastructure. So and we they have more details about in at that level. When you go some urban area, let's go to the urban area and see how they look like. If you want to see the, like, let's go to the Edmonton and see if we can have those detailed information about in that. So we can see the different transformers locations. I think those are informations that are available, and they have a major connectivity, and a major distribution network is also part of that. So it's very rich data, and if you want to be a copy of a digital data, so there are different ways to do that. So first one is you can buy this data. So if you look at this information, it's there, and you can like buy that information and get in touch, email them, and then they will give you the cost. It's not a big cost, but eventually it will take a little bit time to processing and getting the data of a country of your interest. And the second thing in that case is if you want to really, like as a student, you want to access this information. So there is a way you can do that. So you can use the QGIS software. There is a plugin where you can access this data. Only the draw like the uh, limitation of this thing is when you zoom into certain levels. So when you export the data, so you can export only up to that particular area which you're seeing in the view. So that's the only thing is, but you can spend some time to pan the screen and then you can export the data you want, and then you need a little bit extra time to clean up the data to make it useful. So but anyway, this information is very useful if you want to be looking some transmission line which are related to your research. So I would suggest like you can give it a try to this information, and that could be a baseline for your research, and then further you can link that into your research projects. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any feedback, if you need any question, so I would love to be answered those questions.